Good job. You already know what it is, man. This is T Paris, aka the Young Marvin Gaye. This rap shit, most original, most creative, most in tune with the times, and I'm sort of like your inspiration. And this is Peace Perspective. But let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. This week our topic of conversation came by way of email. I want to give a shout out to Just Right, a hip hop artist out of Brooklyn, New York. He said, "What's up, P? I was thinking about a segment about the term keeping it real, and as far as what do we as individuals think real is and what society deems as real. It's a lot of pressure to be yourself in a world where a certain image or view can alter your life. I think people have lost touch of what's authentic because it's not marketable or it doesn't bring in the money that propaganda does." Well, let's, you know what I'm saying, take a look at this. The term keep it real or being real, I think, was birthed through the veins of hip hop. And when I say birthed through the veins of hip hop, I just mean the culture of hip hop has created a lot of different energies, a lot of different terms, a lot of different ways of life that only those people who live within the hip hop culture, you know, would truly understand. And I think the term keeping it real was one. The term keeping it real was something that we used to say, you know, be honest with me, look out for me, look out for what's in my best interest. And, you know, collectively, I just think it was our way of trying to say, you know, look out for me, I'll look out for you. You know what I'm saying? Let's hold each other down. An example I would like to use is like the Rodney King or O.J. Simpson trials. You see that people, you know, expressed frustration, anger. In L.A., people rioted. Comedians cracked jokes. You know, and all this was just a way to show people our frustrations, you know, that we thought this was an injustice. It was our form of expression, you know. It was our way of keeping it real and letting it be known how we felt. I like to think that, you know, this became fascinating to a lot of people, you know, especially throughout America. You know, people who lived on the outsides of these inner city communities, you know, they wanted to know, you know, what made us tick, you know, what made us mess around with drugs, you know, what perpetuated the violence, you know, what made people continue, you know, to persevere, to strive, you know, how did people overcome the struggle, so to speak. And I think that the fascination, it kind of, you know, made other people want to, you know, tap into the world of hip hop, you know, and see what it was, you know, with the people that were keeping it real. So, with money, you know, coming into play, I think that money gave people who were coming from this lifestyle an opportunity, you know, to possess things that they may have never had, you know, throughout their lifestyle. And so some people getting paid, you know, to tell their story, it made other people on the other side look at it like, wow, if I start to keep it real, then maybe I could get some of the money, you know, some of the possessions, some of the things that these people, you know what I'm saying, are being rewarded for their life stories. And you got people who, again, are fascinated by the lifestyle and excited by it, but not brave enough, you know, to come into the community where it's taking place. And in other words, some of them not even living this way. But again, they're fascinated by it. And they want to capitalize on it. And that's why the money became so important and the material game became so important. Because now the term keeping it real, which we created, you know, which was sort of like our way of just being true and being loyal to each other, now became an image, you know what I'm saying, that we had to maintain. If you were keeping it real, it was a certain way that you had to look, a certain way you had to carry yourself. And so for people who looking at this image, if it didn't resonate with who you are or how you look or how you feel, then you were looked upon as you weren't keeping it real. And so now people are chasing this image, you know. So if you in the streets and you consider yourself a gangster, there's certain codes and ethics that come with that lifestyle. You know, if you're saying I'm pimping, then it's a certain etiquette that comes along with dealing with these women, you know. So based upon your profession, keeping it real has now changed from being about morals and being principles. Because remember, we did say it was about being true to oneself. That's the definition of keeping it real, is being true to oneself, whether it be collectively or individually. But now, keeping it real, the term is turned into, you know, maintaining a certain image. And so when we look within our community now, You got, young kids being raised without their fathers, They don't know right from wrong. Young women being raised without their moms, they don't know their right from their left. But they're following these images that they see on TV, that they see in the movies, that they hear in songs, because these people, they're getting paid to keep it real, That's what they're doing. And I think that the term has become a cliche. It's almost like, as long as I'm keeping it real, then everything is, is right. But let's go a step further, and let's, look at some things and dissect what keeping it real really is about. In the music industry, when we say keep it real, you live in a certain lifestyle, a certain artist, we want you to have certain types of chains, or, drive a certain type of car, carry yourself or treat women a certain way. And so if you're not living this way, then people don't look at you as a quote unquote a rapper or hip hop artist. You're not keeping it real if you don't have these things. And if you have these things, they come with certain type of entitlements. Keeping it real means you got to look out for your friends. And, when drama, jumps off, it's a certain way you're supposed to go about dealing with it. And I want you to keep in mind that some of these people are only doing this because they want the material gain. They don't really live this way. They don't sell drugs. They're not really out here in the community, doing anything violent or anything of that nature. They just chasing behind an image. And the negative aspect about that is a lot of us have kids at home that are being raised by these images and raised by this music, and raised by these movies. So I like to ask, like, how real is it, when these situations hit home? You got a young man out there, he trying to get that money, right? And while he out there, some older kids run down on him, run down on him and his friends, and they take his coat or whatever, And he with his team or his set or his gang, his team, however, these young boys is looking at it now. He got to keep it real. So what is he going to do? Go out there and catch a body? Go and do to them what they did to him? Because that's what keeping it real, is going to mandate. But what if he ain't really built like that? What if that's not his reality? What is his option for keeping it real? I asked that question because you got a lot of times people want you to be a certain way until that reality hits home. You raising your little son or your daughter, and they in school, they getting picked on, you getting smacked upside their head, and they come home and say, yo, mommy, daddy, they telling me to keep it real. They telling me to keep it real. Kid hit me upside my head. Or you gonna tell your kid to go and tell, the teacher that they getting bullied, they getting picked on? Or you gonna teach your kid to fight and box this other kid out? I can't tell you, which decision to make, but I can tell you this. Whatever decision that you do decide is gonna set the protocol for the rest of their life. So now they're gonna be keeping it real based upon what you told them. And you gotta make sure that they can walk in those shoes. Because everybody real until you bump into somebody that's a little bit realer. And then we start to compromise the definition of keeping it real. You understand what I'm saying? As I was kicking it with Josh, we was talking, and he was like, he just feel like it should be more about actions, less about, words. Actions speak louder than words. And that's definitely true. I want to take it a step further. I think that keeping it real should be, being held accountable. It's a lot of people that's doing things and they're not being held accountable to what they're doing, but they still want to walk around like they keeping it real, And if I can elaborate on that, you got people running around snitching, telling on people, and then coming home like everything is good. And some of y'all standing right next to them, and they telling, but you're not speaking up about that. Like that's cool. That's not keeping it real. You got some kids that go to school and they cut in school to go run the streets and sell drugs with their friends. And it's an older dude that's leading them on to doing this. That's not keeping it real. Because if that was your younger brother, you'd be ready to go upside somebody's head for luring him into that bad decision. School is necessary, man. You're either going to be in school or you're going to be in jail trying to keep it real. I want to talk about what's real. When you got kids, you're a grown man and you running around here still trying to live up to, other people's expectations. That's not real. That's not real. When you out there running around doing wrong and you get caught and you can't take, you know what I'm saying, the punishment that come along with it, that's not real. That's not keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? You call yourself a leader. You out here trying to show people the way, and you cutting corners. You know what I'm saying? You trying to get over every opportunity you can. That's not keeping it real, man. That's not real. And if that's, you know what I'm saying, that's the type of character that you live by, that's the type of character traits that you live by, then I'd advise you to stop telling people, you know what I'm saying, you keeping it real. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop saying that I want to keep it real, because that's not how I want to keep it. You know what I'm saying? I want to keep it accountable. Whatever I do, I'm going to stand by, man. I want to leave y'all with this, man. Keeping it real, it's over for that. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it true. You know, let's keep it true. People out here chasing reputation when you really should be trying to chase your past, chase your history, chase your greatness. You know? That's the only way that you're going to really be able to keep it, you know what I'm saying, keep it real. Because keeping it real is about more than just yourself. It's about your family. It's about your friends. It's about the company you keep. It's about the community that you're a part of. And if you're doing negative things, you know what I'm saying, to add to the community, then you changing the energy, you changing the environment. That's not real when somebody else got to deal with the punishment that you deserve. And I'm going to leave y'all with that, the Pondon, man. This is T. Paris, and this is Peace Perspective, man. Toast to the town.